Hello and welcome to our podcast, The Pet Biz Project, the show which helps pet brands, marketers, business leaders and entrepreneurs to build more meaningful relationships with and sell more effectively to one of Australia's fastest growing consumer groups, pet parents. Each fortnight we chat with a marketing specialist, pet brand or simply hop on ourselves to share with you invaluable insights and inspiration on how to grow your business and more effectively connect with this influential consumer. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to the Pet Biz Project podcast, where today I interview Melissa Devereaux, who is the proud owner of Laila Me treat and supplement range and Rawvolution freeze-dried pet food. She is an entrepreneur with over 15 years experience in marketing and events management. She founded her first business, Laila Me, back in 2015, providing quality dog treats, and has just continued to grow in leaps and bounds from there. After successfully scaling Laila Me to 67% revenue growth in 2021, she embarked on her next challenge to start Rawvolution, a business specializing in freeze-dried pet food. And today we dive into some of the challenges that arise when scaling your business and how to overcome them. Melissa has a passion for working in the pet nutrition industry, which she commenced after her dog Laila developed allergies to certain proteins, and she utilised her business skills to fill a gap in the market where pet owners sought high-quality nutritional alternatives that used 100% human-grade ingredients with no added additives, preservatives, salt or sugar. On today's episode, we discuss how she faced and overcame challenges in the growth of her business and how each new level of growth comes with its own new set of problems to manage. We also talk about the importance of building trust with your customers and how remaining authentic and transparent is crucial in building customer loyalty. Melissa also shares with us how she transitioned to outsourcing more aspects of her business to be able to focus on what she enjoys doing the most and allows others to help her in the areas she prefers not to focus on. So grab a tea or coffee and sit back and enjoy this episode with Melissa as we explore how to build meaningful relationships with pet parents. Welcome, Melissa, to the Pet Biz Project. It is great to have you here with us today to chat about you've not just got one pet brand, have you? You've got Laila Me, and then there's also Rawvolution, is it?
Rawvolution. Yeah, we're about to launch Rawvolution, so yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, fantastic. So I want to share with everybody, first of all, before we get into anything else, I'd love to hear about, first of all, how Laila Me came about and then how that's evolved onto what you're doing now. So I understand Laila Me started with your dog, was it, Laila?
Yeah. Oh, it's a long story about how we came to be here. I was working at Bunnings and I was their national events manager, so I had like a really crazy full-on job and I travelled a lot and I was finding it really hard to unwind when I got home. So I kind of like started just baking treats for Laila and like dehydrating treats as like a kind of way to relax and unwind. And initially I wanted to get into like dog pet parties. I was like, I really want to, like, I love events, I love dogs, I'm going to do dog, like, here, I'm going to bake cakes and it's all going to be great. When Laila was about 1, she then got really bad environmental allergies, like grass allergies. So we had to start, like, about 6 months of, like, elimination diets and everything. And it was just a nightmare. So I was looking in, like, pet stores because obviously you still want to treat your dog. And I was a new pet parent, so I had, like, absolutely no idea about all the marketing garbage that you come to know and see through the bullshit now.
Exactly.
So like I'd pick up treats and then I'd look at the back of them and it was just like, they'd say natural. I was like, cool. And then I would be like, why has this got all this like salt and sugar and glycerin and just all this stuff that it just didn't need? So I was like, these aren't natural at all. So I started to kind of like, when I was baking biscuits and stuff, like I was also dehydrating treats. So it started, I don't know, it all just like kind of came together like that. It was just a bizarre turn of events. So fast forward on 2 years, it got to the point where I couldn't give Laila Me or Bunnings enough love each. It was just getting too busy. So I took the leap and I quit my job and I just went full throttle into Laila Me. And it's been about 7 years now. So It's been great.
Did you find it scary that taking that leap and focusing 100% on your business?
Absolutely, because I'd been at Bunnings for 14 years and I had not known anything else. Like, it was my life. I'd grown up with the company. I'd literally worked my way through all the ranks of the company. And I, honestly, hand on heart, I loved my job. So when I had to make that decision, it was kind of like I was mourning my job, but I was excited for the future of what I could create. Like, I had no business experience. I had like retail experience and event management experience, but no kind of business manager. Like, it was, so
getting into the financials and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. And I still like cringe about that. I outsource all of that because I think what I can't do, I'm not going to kill myself over. I'll just outsource it.
Yeah.
But so it's all kind of evolved from there, and it's just that's the story.
Fantastic. And so Laila Me's been going for, is it 7 years now?
Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic. Gosh, it's a long time. I think one of the things that, I've got a dog as well, Ash, who suffers from a huge amount of allergies as well for, a long time now. So I understand the frustration and the pain of trying to, keep life fun and interesting for them, but also manage the allergies and the reactions to those. So I understand the pain, but but also I suppose one thing I wanted to talk about with you is because 7 years you've been operating like Laila Me. Right now, like, I see you everywhere. Everywhere I go, you're popping up in my social media feeds. Everybody, every other pet business owner I speak to, they know of you. They, highly talk about you and your brand and stuff. So I suppose one of the things I want to talk about is it doesn't happen overnight. You don't just think up a product and put it out there.
I wish it did.
Six months later, you're taking over the world.
Yeah. And I like, literally, I see people in business groups like, I've had my business for like 3 months and I've scaled it to $100,000 a month. I'm like, really? Because that does not happen. Like, there's more to that story, I'm telling you, because it takes a very, very long time. And especially in an industry like pet treats, oh God, it wasn't this saturated when I started, but it is so saturated now. I look through all of my Facebook and it's just a different treat company popping up. It does, it's tough. But it does, absolutely right, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, and I suppose that's where it becomes so important to find how you're different to others and your unique individuality and to really express that. So I suppose one of the things you use to stand out or helps you to stand out is your story of actually being relatable and saying, look, I have shared your pain of having to find, dog treats that are actually natural, that do have, nothing fillers and additives and things like that. How else do you find, what else do you find helps you to stand out in a crowd with your business?
Well, as you said, being relatable. So there is a face and there is a team behind this brand that we will happily share. We will get on our socials. We'll chat to our customers. We go to like so many trade shows and dog lover shows so we can go out and meet customers, but also get like instant feedback on something. Like, we will do a poll on like our Christmas products. What do you want to see from us? Like, we really want to engage with our customers. So when we pull out new ranges, it's not like we've just sat around and thought about it as a team, but we've actually like gone and done a bit of like research with our customers. So, like, for example, once a year I'll send out a massive dog lover survey and I'll give out like a $25 gift card for everybody who goes, because it's a long survey. It takes about 15 minutes. But I have asked them every single question about their dog, about their lives, about where the dog sleeps, what the dog eats. So it's being relatable and there's a face behind the brand, and it's also getting, like, I've grown this brand, not just me, but like with all of my customers. They've all been along for that journey and they're all loyal, and it's just great. It's just really heartwarming that we can all kind of evolve together. So I think that it's really important that you have to be engaged with your customers, but also really give a shit about them as well.
Yeah. And you've just launched a supplement range, which looked like a amazing launch party that you had, by the way.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was so fun.
Which is great. But did that supplement range come from that feedback that you received from your customers? Is that where you got that inspiration, or is that something you've always wanted to do right from the beginning?
Well, it was a bit of both. to be honest. Like every year, I'm in a saturated industry. I need to be having a unique customer offering, but make sure that my customers actually want to buy it. So every year I will go, well, I didn't because of COVID, but every year I try and get over to like international trade shows. So for example, like Global Pet Expo or Super Zoo, and I will go every year to see the trends and see what's coming. And then I will kind of adapt that so we can kind of bring it into Australia. So for example, 2019, CBD was like massive. Obviously, we still can't get CBD in, but I'm like wanting to as soon as that happens. Yeah. But this year when I went to Global and Super Zoo, I saw that there was a big trend and push on nutritional supplements for dogs. But it was the same joint and health, skin, calming. It was like the same 5. So like you could see that these were the pain points for customers. I would then go out and say, hey, like what do you struggle with your pet? And also I know that my customers have followed me for a very long time. So our dogs would be about the same age. So that's another reason I introduced the senior blend, where I haven't really seen that with other people that do supplements, for example. So I kind of looked at it, was like, I want my dog to live forever. We kind of all do, but I've developed like a nutritional blend that's got really great properties in it to kind of slow, degenerative brain disease and joint health and like everything to kind of keep them, puppy-like.
Yeah, because it's a combination with the supplement range. It's like you were saying, it's a combination of hearing what others are saying, but also looking at the trends because, I think I know we do our own independent research in our business as well. So we're always, sending out surveys and incentivizing pet parents to fill them out for us because,
you're taking up customers' time as well.
You do. You've got to value a person's time. You've got to value that you've got to give something back for that energy that they're giving out to your business. And that's hugely valuable for us as a business to then be able to filter that into everything that we do to help pet businesses. And it's the same for you with pet parents. I suppose one thing that really stands out from what you said is that it's constantly evolving. It's not something that's static. The relationship and that bond that people have with their pets grew so much stronger than it had ever been over COVID and lockdowns that we're now seeing the evolution of that in terms of how people are spending on their pets. They're looking for more solutions than they were before for their pets. So you're keeping up with that, with both going over and seeing the events and what's happening overseas, but then also asking local pet parents about what they want.
And that's it. And I think you need to also make it work for you. It would be no point if I went over there and did, I don't know, created my own dog toy or something, because it's not what we do. We do treats, so it needed to be something that's going to complement the treat range. And then we're starting freeze-dried dog food. So again, supplements kind of made sense. But you need to kind of look at that. Probably about 4 months ago, I was like, oh my God, I walked into this warehouse and I'm like, I have got so many products. This is ridiculous. So we sat down and we did a whole range review. I was like, there's no point in me adding products because the customer will jump on your website and go, I'm so overwhelmed and this doesn't even make sense. Why have they got this stuff on there? So yeah, you evolve, but you also need to be really cutthroat about your offering. And if it's working, it's working. And if it's not, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just money sitting on the shelf that's going stagnant and you're confusing your customers.
Yeah. Be really clear.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Super Zoo? I'm interested to know. Did you have a good time while you're there?
It was great, honestly. Yeah. I went in 2019, it was busy, but this year it was busier.
Yeah.
You kind of walk in and you're like, this is small. Why do people need 3 days? I'll be like, I'd just bang it out in a day. No, you need those 3 days. And by the end of it, you're like, I don't think I've seen everything.
Yeah.
But it's just great to go and network and companies there that I've met and I could just draw on their information and they can do the same for me. So, and
I think it's something I was talking about with Katie and Shell from Pretty Fluffy on one of our other episodes the other day was that people, there's such a community attitude towards pet brands these days. I remember it used to be really competitive and I'm not going to tell them what I'm doing and all that kind of thing. But these days I'm seeing more and more, especially the small to medium pet brands coming together and partnering and collaborating and sharing ideas and actually seeing that, hey, if we actually work together here, we can achieve so much more. So, which I think is a great attitude to see coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, because I think we've all got the same goal. We all want to, like, give great products to our pets. And if I hear about something great, I will literally share it. I'll be like, hey, I've used this with Layla. It's fantastic. And it's saying, yeah, I think we've all got the same common goal.
So tell us about Rawvolution. So do you create, you've got a factory, have you, that you're manufacturing from?
Yes, I've got 2 factories. So we manufacture in Bendigo and then we send out the products in Thomastown. So I've outgrown the space in Bendigo. Well, we never really, it was just a disaster. So 2 years ago, we were like, right, we're going to start manufacturing. And like, I would not know the first thing about manufacturing. I wouldn't know I've learned so much, honestly. Sometimes I think, why? So we fit it all out. We brought big freeze dryers. And like, when I'm saying like I scaled, I was just packing 500 orders a month here, right? So I was entering a whole new market of manufacturing and processing. That when we fit out all the I didn't know what I was doing. So I fit it all out. I think we spent like 80 grand on the fit out alone. That's not including all the machineries and all the rest of it. Anyway, we went to turn on all the machines and there wasn't enough power. And I was like, why is there no power?
Yeah.
I was ill-advised from the start from the electrician. He's like, you just call Power Core and they just give you more power. It's fine. I'm like, okay, cool. So we'll just call Power Core. We'll get more power. No, it doesn't work like that. So what happens was we call Power Core and they're like, well, you're at the end of the grid. So you can get more power to the warehouse, but you need to like rip up the road and rip up the driveway. And it's going to cost you like 200 grand. And I was like, I'm not spending 200 grand. It's not like I don't own this workshop. That's like more than no.
Yeah.
So we had to scale back and only dehydrate. We can freeze dry like a little bit. We've got the small freeze dryers there. So at the moment, we're really only running Bendigo at a 20% capacity. So I wanted to launch Rawvolution, about 18 months ago. I've had these recipes. They've been tested. I've sent them out to dogs. They're ready to go. We just can't keep up with the demand, to be honest. Like, we are trying to put our treats first, obviously, because that's our bread and butter. That's, what's bankrolling Rawvolution.
Yeah.
But at the moment, until we move and find a new factory and consolidate them and then turn on the big freeze dryer, we can't launch Rawvolution at the moment. It's a real...
frustrating.
Annoying. It's killing me.
Yeah. It comes back to that whole business lesson that, scaling up isn't, the ultimate goal. Sometimes once you scale, it brings a whole nother range of challenges that you've got to deal with as a business owner.
You have, and then you're just dealing with so many government agencies and it's just like, what am I filling this out? Like a planning permit, and it costs like $2,000 and it took like 3 months to think, and I'm like,
do I really need it?
I just signed it off and I was like, what is this? This is just bullshit. It's like everyone wants your money. So yeah, we're in like a holding pattern at the moment for that reason. But we're on a whole other level now. Now we're dealing with like government agencies. We're dealing with like Austrade and PrimeSafe and like everybody wants a piece of the pie, and it's hard because we're not smashing out as much as we want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rawvolution is still not
properly launched yet.
No,
okay.
No.
But with Laila Me, you produce your own branded treats, but then you also sell wholesale to other pet businesses, is that right?
Yeah, so we do a little bit of contract manufacturing. So if someone wants their own freeze-dried pet food or a specific treat, we can create that for them. And then they will just send us their packaging and we'll package it up for them. Or we sell our treats bulk wholesale for other pet brands if they want to.
It's a great opportunity for small businesses, isn't it? Where, they don't have maybe the funds to invest in their own operation. They can really partner with you guys to create those products for themselves.
Yeah, and then based on like what state they're in, like Victoria, for example, the laws have changed and you do need a PrimeSafe license even if you are rebagging from a manufacturer that has a PrimeSafe license, whereas like New South Wales, a little bit looser, they don't really care as long as it comes from a licensed manufacturer. Queensland, again, is just as strict. So we will guide our customers on, hey, you can do this or you can't do that, or...
That's great advice to be receiving as a business owner. I know I've lived in multiple states of Australia, and it blows me away how everything's so different in every state.
Oh my God. Honestly, I just wish it was regulated nationally. It would just make everyone's life easier.
I think it's a money-making scheme by the government.
Yeah, no one wants to touch it. But they've taxed everything else. It's like, you guys can make money off this. Hello?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
They haven't twigged to that one yet.
I know. It's like, no, we don't want to touch it, but we want to make money off it. It's honestly, if everyone was getting the same messaging and manufacturing to that standard, because that's another thing. Like, we are actual professional manufacturers, but sometimes things go wrong. Like, we will have like issues where a dehydrator might turn off, and like we need to water test everything and batch test everything to make sure what we're sending out is not going to go moldy and like really make a dog sick. But then you've got people sitting at home like and trust me, that's how I started, but I had no idea about Prime Safe. But also probably looking back, I think, oh God, I was probably lucky that I didn't make any dogs sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they potentially don't know what they're doing. They don't have the equipment to batch test and moisture meter their treats.
And giving them that advice, I think, because as you say, a lot of people, maybe start up just doing it as like a hobby or even local markets or something like that, and then think, oh, I'm going to take this online. Don't have that knowledge about what they need to do to stay safe.
I look at like some of these on these, I'm like, oh, that chicken's raw. But like, it's hard. Like, and you can't be like, hey, the chicken's raw, because you're going to look like an asshole. But it's...
Yeah. You do it in a nice way. Yeah. Maybe direct message them rather than...
No, I was like, oh God, I can't. I'm not even looking. Yeah, it's hard.
So I suppose one part of like you were saying, you help educate both the business owners, because they're the ones that are maybe needing a little bit of guidance about what's acceptable and what's not. But also you do a lot of educating with pet parents, don't you? Like when I look on your website, there is an enormous resource there, center of, information on how to give your pet good quality treats and what to look for and what, to avoid. So, And I suppose, do you find that helps with building a huge amount of trust with those that just newly discover you?
Yeah. Only you need that brand trust, whether it's in reviews or blog posts, but also you can't get on blog posts and just start writing absolute rubbish that's not backed up. So I work very closely with a pet nutritionist where she will copyright and write all of my blogs. Like I will pay her to do that because I know that at least the information we're putting out, it's not crap.
Yeah.
And that helps me be extremely trusted with my customers because they know, hey, if I don't know something, I will run it past my vet friends or I'll run it past my pet nutritionist. So I'm not giving out information that's incorrect, but also you really want to educate pet parents, especially new pet parents, because as I said, like when Layla was a puppy, I would go into the pet store and I'd be like, oh my God, or like, Pet Barn's selling this, it must be great. But then you kind of do your own research and you're like, oh, it's not. It's just the marketing behind it. I
mean, it's like the, I noticed on your website, the Take the Pledge, which I love because, again, that's another way to get behind something that's important for pet parents, other than just selling products. But take the pledge where you're like, okay, I'm never going to give my dog rawhide treats. And that's something I did with Ash when I was a new pet parent. She was, friends gave us rawhide treats to give her as a puppy, and I didn't think twice about it until I read how they're actually manufactured and what goes into them. And I was horrified that this is actually on all the shelves out there for people to give their pets.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was something that I was and it's also just a different way of educating, because if you're just spitting out blog posts, there's a chance that people aren't reading them. But if you Take the Pledge, for example, if you go onto my website and if you read through the information about how rawhide's made and then watch the video, and it's like, I will take the pledge to never give my dog rawhide, tick, and in return, I'm going to give you a voucher to go and spend on my store for like a treat that's like a better alternative.
Better quality,
Yeah. And then hopefully, again, when they're walking through at Christmas time or like see the rawhide on the shelf, they're going to go, would never feed my dog that.
No. They're going to go and get one of your advent calendars instead, which
I hope so.
are amazing. I think everybody's scrambling to get those this time.
Oh my God, honestly, the girls are like, I did not want to pack another one. I'm like, there's only like 2,800 to go. We're nearly there.
Poor things. I couldn't believe it. I went into the shops on the weekend. And I hate shopping in shops, but I went in on the weekend and there was Christmas stuff everywhere. I was like, usually we wait until Halloween for this, but this year we're all super keen, I think.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, so another thing that you talk about on your website as well, Mel, is sustainable and being, local manufactured, being sustainable in the way that you operate your business. What are the types of things that you look at that makes you a sustainable business?
Well, obviously we need to offset all of the machines and stuff we're running because freeze dryers and dehydrators, they do pull a lot of energy. So everywhere that we can kind of offset where we can, we will. So, for example, all of our packaging is recyclable, made from recyclable plastics. You just pop it in your recycling bin. So, stuff like the cornstarch bags for the dental chews. We've tried to really reduce our packaging, as well as like all of the new SUPs, all those containers are now recyclable.
Yeah.
But also we'll look at products like offcuts, for example, that would generally end up in landfill. So, for example, the crocodile feet. That would just go in the bin. The salmon bellies, it's just offcuts that from the human supply chain. They were like, hey, no, we'll take that and we will dehydrate it. So my meat wholesaler will just call me with the most random stuff and he'd be like, hey, can you just take this? We've got to get rid of it. Like, otherwise we're going to throw it out. I was like, yeah, bull testicles, we'll take those.
Yes.
And my poor sister is the one that has to manufacture them. She's like, why? I was like, well, it's sustainable for one.
The dog will love it.
Like, I know, but like, exactly. So what we're like, is really nutritious for the dogs, but also really sustainable. The farmers are still getting money for it, which would otherwise end up in the bin. And we are, again, we're just sending them out because we know that it's good. The dog's going to love it. My sister hates prepping it, but yeah. So we're trying to be sustainable in all of those kind of ways that we run our business.
And again, I think like we were saying earlier, it's just business is constantly evolving. It's staying on top of all that stuff. It's not just coming up with your product and getting it out there, but it's also looking at how you operate as a business and what else you can be doing to help to, make sure that we've got a good future ahead of us. And you use, I know you use brand ambassadors a lot as well with your Laila Me, is that right? I think I see, is it Ruby Red Dog or something?
Oh, yeah, she's one of my reps. Yeah, they're honestly adorable. And that just came down from when I started this business 7 years ago. I had no funds for marketing. So you have absolutely no funds. So you would be on Instagram. And I started as an Instagram business. Like, don't get me wrong, 90% of my customers would come from Instagram. I've still got a really big following on there, which is fantastic. But obviously now, I've got customers, export customer, we've just grown and evolved. They're not all sitting on Instagram at the moment. But it was just a really cheap way for me to market. It was like, hey, can I send you my product and can you take some photos and put it on Instagram? And that's how it kind of evolved. So I still do that for this day. I think it's absolutely fabulous that you scroll Instagram and you'll see people with your products and then the customers will want to get involved. So then go and take cute photos and then you reshare. So I think it's a really cost-effective way to get your products in the hands of customers, but also influencer marketing. It's good. And we're so lucky in the pet industry that dogs are happy to get paid in dog treats.
Yes.
Whereas if you went to a beauty influencer or someone else, you'd be paying $10,000 a post.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that we have been extremely lucky that if you treat the influencers right and really have a great relationship with them, that they are like, yeah, sure, I'll take a photo. I'll take cool photos. I'll post it on my Instagram. And then I can rehash that content in my TikTok, in my Facebook group, in my Facebook ads. So then you're just rehashing all of that content.
Yeah, I mean, it's partnerships. We're seeing more and more partnerships what, gives you that ability to, grow your business without that marketing spend because, and it's not, I think sometimes a lot of small businesses think that, it's just what I've got to do to get ahead. But we're seeing more and more the big brands out there are all partnering together, the big businesses, especially, I mean, we focus on the e-commerce side of things, and just, seeing, partnerships between, like Shopify and Klaviyo, which we use for email marketing, those big businesses are now coming together to partner because they just see that we're stronger together than we are on our own. And, you can offer so much more to your audience if you're bringing in, if you're seen as that trusted expert, you can bring in all these other trusted experts, and pet parents love it because they're like, well, I don't have to shop around. You're telling me who you recommend and who you think is great. And that you're making my life easier. So it, positively impacts on you as well. So it's great. I think it's lovely to see it happening. So as a business owner, can you share with our listeners sort of what are some of the challenges that you've experienced over those 7 years and sort of how you felt you overcome them?
Well, a big one was moving into a factory with no power.
Yeah.
Like when I found out that, I was like, huge challenge. I was literally ugly crying in my bedroom all weekend. I was like, I'm done. I am like so done. I'm so far into this. Like I have just like, we're done. I was like, oh my God, I have to shut this business down. But again, I then outsource. Like at the moment, I love, like if I could just market and just be a marketing manager in my business and get a general manager, I 100% would do that because I just love the social interaction with people and the marketing side of it and running digital marketing campaigns. Yeah. So I was like, I can't do all this. It was so overwhelming. I was like, thought I was going to quit. I didn't. I dusted myself off. I started to hire a business advisor who then just took over like all of that side of the business, the permits, how we would start to get return on investment on what we could do in Bendigo, because I still need Bendigo because I can't run my business without a Prime Safe license. I would never be able to get Thomastown, like the building code. It's an old building. We would just never be able to get it to code. So still, I had to make Bendigo work with what I could, but it was just so overwhelming. Like financials, hate financials. There's just stuff in this business that I literally moan about. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. Just like get someone else to do it. So now I've got a business advisor that will manage all of that. So she kind of acts like a general manager for my business. She will teach me or she'll go and do it. Yeah. But then also I've got another business coach for digital marketing and Facebook ads. And that, like, I'm in a mastermind with 20 women and I have been for 2 years. So it's great that we can kind of network and like we're all different. We're all not pets. There's like fashion, skincare, like just women going through the same sort of issues. So when you run your own business, it gets so lonely.
Yeah, you don't want to be experiencing those challenges on your own, do you?
Yeah, and exactly. And it's like, oh, I can't like go and whinge and moan to my team members because they'll be like, oh my God, have I got no job kind of thing. Yeah. So I suppose it's surrounding yourself with professionals and consultants that really know what they're doing. Like in the end, I was like hiring consultants that I never knew existed, like electrical engineers and like food safety consultants and stuff like that. So yeah, it's those kind of things that you have to overcome, but you just don't have to do it all as a business owner.
Yeah, it's just reaching out, and you don't have to know everything. It's that whole self-worth thing, I think, of getting that you don't have to be everything to everybody, that you 100%. Can't, you can't spread yourself that thin. You've got to have that as support and that circle around you that are going to lift you up and keep you on the, right direction. So that's good.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. If I had to do my own accounting or tax return, oh my God, I'd be 100% audited by. They'd be like, what are you doing? You just have no idea about this stuff. And it's okay to outsource it, honestly. Just save yourself a headache and like 30 hours of just like that you could be doing playing to your strengths. For example, if I was to like go through 30 hours of like financials and kill myself over and it was wrong in the end, where I could be putting that 30 hours into like building meaningful relationships with my customers. That's where my time is better spent.
So that leads me on to my next question is, like, we talk a lot about on the Pet Biz Project and within our business about building meaningful relationships with pet parents. Don't focus on selling, focus on building those meaningful relationships with pet parents, and then the sales will come. What do you think is key about, building meaningful relationships with pet parents?
Well, for example, I think that I'm not going to sell one of my products to a customer that's got an issue when I know that it's not going to fix it just to make a sale. There is times where I've literally gone, hey, no, none of these supplements that I've worked are going to work for your dog, but Narelle Cook, for example, from Canine Ceuticals, or Antinol have got a really good supplement. Use this. I use that on Layla. So I think that the customer's like, oh, well, they're not pushing their products. I'm not talking shit about it. I'm literally going, no, there's something out there that's going to be better suited for your dog, that they're going to have that trust. And they're going to come back and go, okay, well, when I give them a treat or, say this product's really great, they're going to trust me because I know that I haven't just gone and upsold a product that's not going to be fit for their purpose.
Yeah.
So I think it's been really trustworthy. And that takes a very long time. Again, I've put all the education on my website. Like anyone who slides into my DMs, we're like, hey, I'm happy to have a chat. And if I have to, it'll be like, hey, this is completely outside of my scope. You need to go and speak to Claire, the pet nutritionist that I work with, or go and speak to Nicole, who's a vet at Mont Albert that I have a lot of discussions with. Because I know that I trust these people, and I know that I trust that if I send my customers to them, it's not going to be brand damaging for me.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, you've got to stay in your lane, haven't you? It's like you don't want to be, again, it's trying to, being comfortable with not being everything to everybody and just going, this is what I'm good at, this is where I can help, but if I can't, I've got this.
And if you start to talk shit, people are going to see right through you. Honestly, and there are some raw feeders or just pet parents out there that are so educated. They've done such a great job of educating themselves that if you go and start to talk shit, they're going to sniff that out and eat you alive. So there's absolutely no point in doing it because you're going to just lose brand trust and they're just going to think you're a joke. So again, I just send them to someone who knows what they're talking about sometimes. Help them to where we can. But again, you've just got to be completely honest with them. And I think that your customers really respect that.
Fantastic. Yes, 100% agree. And so if you could go back to, 7 years ago now that you started Laila Me, if you could go back to the beginning when you were just starting out as a new business owner, what's one bit of advice you would love to give yourself back then?
It's to ignore the noise. So I was so caught up with people are copying me and oh my God, they've gone and done this range and I was first to do this. Honestly, now, if I was still doing that, I would just be so exhausted I would get no work done. Because as I said, I literally pick up my phone and I'm targeted with all these other treat companies. And I'm like, I don't even get on their website and have a look. At the start, I'd be full on going through their product listings and you've got to ignore the noise because you're always going to have competitors there.
Yeah.
And some people may come and do it better than you. You just can't get hung up on it because you're never going to get any work done. And it's also really bad for your mental health. It's so bad for your mental health. Honestly, I look at these people just nitpicking or, just being really passive aggressive on the Instagram stories. And I think customers can see through that, honestly, and you're not getting any work done. Let it go, move over and just focus on doing the best that you can.
Yeah. And I think sometimes there's always going to be others out there doing, none of us are doing anything for the first time, are we? We're all just looking at, okay, what's been done in the past? From my perspective, how could it be done better? How could it be done differently? So there is always going to be others out there doing what you're doing. But also I think just remembering how many pet parents there are out there. You don't have to.
You're going to find customers somewhere. Just go, don't worry about it and go and find your customers. Do you know what I mean? And they're going to be so loyal to you if you treat them right. And you don't talk shit and you educate them. And
70% of homes have pets. It's you don't have to go far to find your ideal customers. So I think that's really, really good advice because it is something that I think especially small business owners can get so stuck in that comparing and the imposter syndrome sort of thing that the imposter monster that, everybody else is doing what I'm doing. But just I think that's where it's good to be blinkered. I find that for my own mental health, I need to outsource or, have team members doing our social media because I don't like being on social media and it doesn't help me being on social media for my mindset. Yeah. So I prefer to have somebody else manage that so I don't have to look at it. And I focus on email marketing as my area sort of thing. Yeah. So I think it's, recognizing what's good for you and what's not and making changes to reflect that. So fantastic. So what's next for you? Gosh, I know you probably all hands on deck trying to get Rawvolution.
Well, we're trying to get the advent calendars out, but we're also about to crowdfund on virtual. So we go live on the 6th of October.
Yeah.
And we are crowdfunding to just get into a bigger warehouse, and then to start Rawvolution and to start better exporting to other countries. Like, we just need to meet demands, and at the moment we just can't, with Bendigo running 20% capacity. So we were like, hey, let's just crowdfund it. So we definitely, that's going to be exciting. Huge campaign goes around that. So expression of interest for that starts on the 6th. And then, we're just going to ask our followers and our customers to get involved and see if they want to buy some shares in Laila Me.
Yeah. Has that been like a huge process leading up to actually launching that? Like, it's not something that you can just quickly just do.
No, you can't just do it. You need to go through lawyers to get your constitutional rights done. I needed to add a second director, even though I was like, no, this is my company. And they're like, well, you can't do it without a second director. I'm like, I don't trust anybody. So I had to get my uncle who lives in London. I'm like, hey, can you be my... He's like, what? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's wondering what he's been signing
I know,
into.
and I'm like, you're a I was like, you haven't, just pay you some shares, but you're not making any decisions. He's like, yeah, it's dog food, I'm not interested, kind of thing. Yeah, so, and it's been huge. And then you need to get your accountant to do all your templates, and there's we filmed a whole video with Good Gravy Media. The guys come out, and I was like, I've done so much filming for Bunnings, I'm fine. And then I got in front of the camera, I was like, honestly, no. I let the team down. I was like, this is tedious. The video turned out fine, it's all right. So you'll see that on the 6th. There's a whole campaign to go around that, but we're so excited. Yeah,
because I haven't seen a lot of pet brands doing the crowdfunding here in Australia. I see it a lot more overseas, especially Europe and the US. Yeah, but don't see it much here. So it's great to see you guys taking that approach and giving it a whirl. Yeah. So I hope it all goes well.
And I figure if it all doesn't go well, it's like a giant marketing campaign.
And you might even find in the future, that giving that sort of passing the torch with that business advice of what you've learned over the years is something you want to do, passing that on to other business owners, and it'll just be another, bit of experience to have and to be able to share.
You just never know. So it's very busy.
It sounds it,
but it's excited. Honestly, if it wasn't busy, I'd be like, I'm bored. Yeah, this is what I do. This is why I keep starting businesses. I'm like, let's start a pet food thing, and I'm like, oh my god, I've started too much.
So just before we end, do you do anything special to manage your time? Because you're obviously juggling a lot of balls. Do you just focus on what's priority, or do you divide your week up?
Yeah, no. This year, I think I had a giant meltdown where I was like, I cannot do all of this. This is too hard. I literally had a meltdown, and I was like, my mum's like, you need therapy. I was like, I do not think therapy. This is ridiculous. No, I went and got therapy, and I highly recommend it, because there's some coping tools and mechanisms. I know I've done 17 sessions with the guy. I can't get rid of me. But it's also he just gives really great advice. He's like, if you're always going to catastrophize something, or don't take care of your health, for example, your mental health, you're not going to be around long enough to enjoy it. You're working so hard, but you're not going to reap the benefits, because you're going to be in a padded cell somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So now stuff happens, and I'm like, meh. And my business advisor was like, I'm a bit panicked. Why aren't you panicked? I was like, it's fine. I'm sure it'll work out.
We'll get through it, yeah. I think it's a good attitude to have. I think something that helped me many years ago to shift my perspective was that, whenever there is that big challenge or that thing that's just overwhelming you, just recognize that it's just pushing you to step up to that next level, and you've got to go through that pain to hit the other side. You've got to grow, and you can't stay in your comfort zone. So,
and that's it. And that's when I restructured everything. I was like, I cannot do everything. So that's when I brought on the business advisor, and I brought on more team members. And now I've got such a great structure. So we've got Jazz in the warehouse. I don't need to worry about orders or warehousing. She's managing it. And then you've got Candace, who does all of the other admin and all the I'm like, I can't deal with this email. Just make it go away. She'll just do that. So yeah, it's getting to that point where you can't physically do everything, but you need to have a look at your expenses and where you can kind of pull money from, and then start outsourcing it. Hire team members to do it. Otherwise, again, it's why am I started this business so I could just be my own boss and just relax. I don't want to be working for the business. The business needs to be working for me. So
yeah, good attitude.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I've absolutely loved chatting with you today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That's all right. If anyone wants to reach out and get in touch with you on anything that we've talked about today, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
They can hit us up on socials, probably Instagram DMs, or just email us on the website, the contact us. One of us will get back to them. Yeah, I'm happy to like definitely share as much knowledge as I can. I don't know it all. I don't pretend to know it all, but been through quite a lot in these last 7 years, so if I can guide any other businesses.
It's great, and I think it's lovely that you're willing to pass that knowledge on, because it does make such a huge difference to those coming through.
It does. It does. Because I remember at the start, I was like, I'm too scared to reach out to anybody in case they think that like they're essentially a competitor. But then I was like, all right, we're all in it for the same thing.
There aren't any real competitors out there. I know it feels like it because they offer, they're selling a similar thing to a similar person, but we're all different. It's just like, that's why it's so important to show the personality of your business, because it's like, as people, that's what makes us unique, isn't it? So
yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on. And we'll put all the links and stuff for your businesses and also for getting in contact with you in the show notes. So anybody can reach out to you. But thank you so much, Melissa, for your time.
Thanks for having me. I'll speak to you all soon. Okay. Bye.
So there you have it. Some amazing advice and insights from Melissa, proud owner of Laila Me treats and supplement range and Rawvolution freeze-dried pet food. Make sure you reach out to Melissa using the links in the show notes if you have any questions or you'd like to connect with her personally. One aspect of this episode I really would love for you to go away and think about in your own business is, if anything was possible, what aspects of your business would you love to outsource to others? And what aspects do you love working on yourself? From the list of aspects you'd like to outsource, select the one that takes up the most of your time on a regular basis, and the one that you know that if this was managed by someone else, you'd be able to achieve much greater results in your business. Now is the time to then go and reach out to those that you know, other business owners, service providers, and ask for referrals. Shop around and speak to those that can manage those aspects for you. You'll know once you've found the right fit, and you can then start to budget for that support into your business moving forward. Make sure you go and subscribe to the Pet Biz Project podcast so that you're notified whenever we drop a new episode. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to the Pet Biz Project podcast, the show which helps you to build meaningful relationships with and sell more effectively to one of Australia's fastest growing consumer groups, pet parents. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review and tell us what your key takeaway was or what ideas you're going to go and implement into your own business. If you would like to get the show notes from today's episode or any of the links mentioned at all you need to do is head over to petbizcreatives.com/podcast. Don't forget to sign up to our newsletter as well, where we'll let you know when the next episode is released and also share additional exclusive resources with you. Thanks for listening.